Hello, good day to you. Top of the morning to ya. It was sort of St. Patrick's Day recently-ish. Anywho, notes for 9-6, multi-step factoring. This is algebra. So this is kind of combining what we've done in the past, like 3 lessons, and putting it into one lesson, so multi-steps. So the very first thing that you're always going to start with, always, when you're factoring, is to look for and take out a GCF, if there is one. There won't always be one, like we saw in yesterday's notes and examples. There wasn't always a GCF, but if there is one, you need to take it out first. Otherwise, it makes things more difficult. Then, what happens next is going to depend on what you have left. If you are working with a binomial, you're going to want to check to see if it's one of those differences of perfect squares. And that is that's back from what we did in lesson 9-4. So you can go back there if you need further review. If you are left with a trinomial, so 3 terms, something like x squared plus 20x minus 17, then you're going to factor in trinomials. Which is what we did back in 9-5. So multi-steps today. Let's take a look at the first example. Okay, so again, first thing we're always looking for to take out is a GCF. What is something that each one of these pieces, 2x squared, 50x, and 228x, not just kidding, 228, not x, all have in common? And that would be a 2. They don't all have an x because the 228 doesn't have an x. So my GCF on here is definitely going to be a 2. So I'm going to start by taking that GCF of 2 out. And when I take it out, I'm just going to keep it on the outside of my parentheses because remember, we're creating equivalent expressions. So they have to be equal to the original one that we started with. So dividing the 2 out of each piece leaves me with x squared plus 25x plus 114. So now you can see we're on step 2 where we're deciding if this is a binomial or a trinomial. Obviously, you can see that this is a trinomial. So we're going back to factoring like we did last lesson, where we're going to be looking for factors of 114. Notice we're not going back to the original 228. We're going to the new GCF the factor after we pulled out the GCF. Okay, so into y equals, I've got 114 divided by x, second table. Okay, so 2 and 57, 3 and 38, 2 and 57, 3, 38, 6 and 19, 6 and 19. Okay, so it's got to be one of these. All right, so again, and then we're using our factored expression that we took the GCF out of. We're not going back to the original yet. So we're trying to get one of these pairs that adds up to a 25. Definitely not 2 and 57, definitely not 3 and 38. 6 and 19 is the way to go because 6 plus 19 gives me 25. So again, keeping my GCF of 2 on the outside, just continuing to carry that down. My first pieces have to be x in order to get to that x squared. We decided we're working with 6 and 19 here, and now just for the signs. It has to multiply to a positive, which tells me my signs have to be plus plus or minus minus. And in order to get to a positive 25, they're going to both have to be positives. So that right there is your factored expression completely. Yes, it was factored when we took the 2 out, but it wasn't factored completely, and you would lose credit for that on your test if you didn't take it all the way down.